Good morning, guys. Dorian here from DV Mechanics, doing a little video on a neat little engine that I'm just finishing up. What you're looking at here is a 1750 engine. This is a 551 block. 551 would be a 69, I believe. Alfa Romeo 1750, something you'd find like maybe on a GTV, Berlina, Spider car, and it is currently sitting on engine braking stand, which I built a couple of years back ago. I was leafing through a book. I love books. I love Alfa books, and I have quite a few of them. And I saw a neat Auto Delta test stand in one of those books. It had a GTA motor sitting on it, and it looked a lot like this stand. And over the course of a weekend, I decided to pull some tubes together and try to copy that stand as much as possible. I remember I loved how it had round outer tubing, so I did the cut and welded it. Now, embarrassingly, this thing's really rusty because it's been sitting on a pallet outside of my storage. A bit of a rough year last year, if you know about what happened to my hand and stuff. So this thing kind of sat around. I've broken in a couple of motors on it, and I'm slowly modifying it to be perfect. I mostly built it around a 2-liter motor, but this will work on a 1750, 1600, 1300, etc. I built a little station here. It has a facet fuel pump, a little FISPA fuel pressure regulator / filter. It's got a 123 coil. It runs a little fuse block with a couple of, fuse breakers. I can turn on the fuel pump there. This is the ignition. And then it has a start button, so I can activate the starter and run a motor on here. It runs off of a dirt bike, a little fuel can. It has its own battery. I made it so that this plastic case drops into it so I can keep all the accessories for it in there. As you can see, it runs on a Alfa stands in the front, and then you'll rely on a Alfa gearbox and rear mount to sit it there. But overall, it's just a neat way for me to be able to run motors in my shop. The main reason to do it for me is that I do a good amount of engine building for clients that are not here in California, meaning they send me a motor, I rebuild it to the spec they want, and I send it back to them. But I thought it was really important for me to be able to run these motors before I send them out. I like to sync the cars for them, set the ignition, check oil pressure, check it for leaks, all that stuff. And this is a great way for me to be able to do it. At the moment, I'm still working on finishing a panel for it. I'm going to build a panel here that's going to have some gauges. I'm going to put a tack on it along with a voltmeter, oil pressure gauge, and a coolant temperature gauge, maybe a couple of other things, some indicator lights, etc. Just so I can keep an eye on the vitals. The way I do it now is I run a mechanical oil pressure gauge initially to make sure that we have plenty of oil pressure. And I like to just run them for several heat cycles over the course of a few days. While I'm working on other stuff, I can just walk up to the motor, run it, let it come to temperature, let it cool back down. I can do the initial torquing and retorquing of the cylinder head bolts. And it's just a nice way to be able to make sure that this thing runs, starts, and is going to be a good experience for the client. These are older motors. They're a bit organic in nature. The gaskets that are available for them are kind of old school. They're mostly flat gaskets. They don't have all the modern silicone beading on them. So there is some technique behind making Alfa motor not leak. I've, over the course of years, have found products and techniques that help me kind of make them that way. But once in a while, you'll just get a weird one that just kind of doesn't agree. And for that reason, I like to run them on the stand, check them out, make sure they don't leak, make sure they start right away, they're nice and crispy, and everything's ready to go. And that's what it is. This is one of my gearboxes from one of my cars. What's neat about the stand is you can also even check synchros. I can actually shift through the gears while it's running and check gearboxes if I need to. I also have a setup to do this on my lathe, funny enough. But regardless, there's a lot of little things that you can do on this thing. But mostly it's just to be able to break them in, make sure they're not leaking, make sure there's no problems before I box them up and send them around the country. And it's neat. This motor here is a neat one, and it's a bit unusual for me. It's not a rare motor or anything. It's a 1750 551, like I said. But it's quite heavily modified. This is going out to a fellow named Matthew Wadland. Hi, Matthew. This is your engine. Matthew runs something called the Duetto Rescue Society. He's building a series of pretty cool Alfa duettos. He's rescuing them out of barns and fixing them up and putting them out into the world. He's got me on board to do the engine work for him, and it's fun. He's doing some 1750s, maybe some 2 liters. This is the first 1750 we're doing together. If you know 1750, you know, in the Alfa world, a lot of people consider it to be one of those kind of magical sweet spots between a 1600 and a 2 liter, which they kind of are, you know. A 1750 is half 1600 and it's half 2 liter. It still runs the 8-bolt flywheel and that stuff is kind of old world. It has a oil filter that's on the side of the block versus the spin-on filter on the front timing cover. But it's largely, I would say it's more closely related to a 2 liter. It shares a 2 liter stroke with a smaller bore of, I believe it's 80 millimeters factory. So a 1750 is actually something like a 1799, I believe, factory displacement. This one, however, has been taken out to 82 millimeters. So this is actually an 1870 now. So it's significantly bigger than stock. And it has some really neat parts. We did a Paul Sproul 1870 kit with the 82s. It's got really nice hardware throughout internally. It has a really nice blueprinted oil pump, which I do for it. Really nice camshafts, DLC followers, really nice stainless steel valves and springs. All that stuff has been upgraded. Nice German chains in it. So this thing rips, man. It's got some nice cylinder head work done to it. And I know it's hard to tell from the little running video, but this thing's crispy. The advertised compression ratio on the pistons that which we're using in this thing is 10.5, but with a little bit of milling we did to the cylinder head, it's probably closer to 11, maybe. I mean, this is just a guess and I can calculate it, but it's probably, I think, 10.75. You can kind of tell when you run it, it's crispy, it's very responsive, and that's just a function of the compression ratio, which I love. It's easier to start. It sounds a little bit like a race car. Obviously, at the moment, we're running this open exhaust. This is one of my Alfaholics systems that I'm running on it. It's very convenient. It has the normal pipe kicked up for the dyno here, not dyno, testing stand, obviously. But another thing is this motor. I do a lot of vapor blast work here at the shop. A lot of the 2 liters and twin sparks I build get fully vapor blasted. This one is not vapor blasted. This is just deeply cleaned. I have a reasonable amount of cleaning equipment in my shop. I have a hot water detergent tank that I can run my stuff through. I have a couple of ultrasonic machines here. And this one has had all that. So as you can see, it has a nice kind of factory alloy look to it. It's clean, it's degreased, but it has not been vapor blasted. If it was vapor blasted, it'd be a lot different. Actually, it'd look a little bit more like maybe this Porsche motor over here. It's got that kind of... But yeah, we chose to kind of just leave it traditional rebuild with deep cleaning via detergent and a lot of scrubbing. The vapor blast process, as much as I like it, and I do it on all the high-end stuff, I don't typically recommend it. It adds a significant amount of time and cost to the builds. A lot of people sadly think that vapor blasting is some type of magical vapor process that just kind of just cleans everything, and it's being quite popular in all kinds of builds, and it's good stuff, no doubt. But if you vapor blast an engine, especially if you get into the internals and all that stuff, you really have to budget a couple of days for that process, because as much as you might think vapor blast is a vapor blast process, it's actually a sandblast process with water. And because of that fine silica sand and glass beads or whatever media you might be using is really good at finding its way into all the various internal passages of the engine, whether it's coolant or oil. And you have to be really, really aware of that. And you have to be very deliberate about the cleaning process. Once you get sand, especially with wet sand and often with all the old oil crud inside these things before you rebuild them, it'll bond right to the internals. And once you run oil through it, it'll free up all that sand and go directly to your oil pump and just completely destroy your motor. I can't tell you how many engines to date in just the past 5-6 years I've seen that were rebuilt, sandblasted, vapor blasted, and put together without enough cleaning, and they just don't last at all. Sometimes they just last hours because, someone just wasn't experienced in using the process, and maybe they didn't realize that you really do have to budget 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of cleaning post vapor blast. That stuff goes everywhere. It's abrasive. It's awful with oil. It's the worst thing you could do. So as much as I do it, if you don't have an extra, day budget for the build, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna clean your stuff normally with detergent and leave it like this. It's a much safer option. Vapor blasting requires a full day of running brushes through every passage, through every port, everywhere inside the motor has to be run through repeatedly with running water, etc., compressed air before it can go back together. Okay, I think I said enough about that, but anyway, be aware. As you can see, this runs Weber 40s. These are Italian 27s. It runs early style intake manifold with a threaded thermostat. 123 distributor, has a really nice blueprinted oil pump, like I said before. I run a test stand ring gear and starter on it, so we can start it up on the stand here. And it's just a neat way to be able to verify the engines, initially check them, torque the heads, leak check them. I even run an alternator on them so I can charge my dyno or test stand battery while it's running. It runs a nice 14 volts, so it's neat. It's all in one. I'm looking forward to finishing this thing, getting the gauge panel on it, and then it's going off for a nice, much deserved sandblast and hammer tone powder coat job on it. It deserves it. Once I finish building a couple more fixtures for it, it's going to go off around the corner to my powder coater and get done. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick little video on this 1750. Congratulations, Matthew. It's going to be a neat motor. It's nice and crispy. It's going to be responsive and fun in that little duetto. It's set up for a 1600 mounting situation, and it's going to be a rad little motor. So hope you guys enjoy this video. I think this is number 2. And I'm going to try to keep the momentum going and keep putting some videos out. I got some really cool cars that I'm getting close to finishing here. This Blue GTV, which I've been spending a bunch of time on lately, is getting close, and I'm looking forward to showing it to you. I hope to do a little video on the next one about that car. But for now, here you go. Let me see. I'm going to give it a quick throttle pump and see if it'll... It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but let me see if I can just get it to start for one last closeout shot. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.